Trevor's birthday.
Yeah, yesterday.
Turned 64 years old.
Yep.
Had Black Forest cake tonight.
Oh, you had to say the age, right?
I know.
Welcome to the Wilderness Wavelength Podcast.
Welcome to it, another episode of a fire podcast. Cristina just mentioned this is 3 podcasts in a row we've recorded around the fire.
Fire podcasts.
Fire podcast. This one extra special, on location. I'm with my beautiful wife, Cristina.
Hello.
Who yelled at me tonight. We'll talk about that in a little bit here.
All right.
Yeah. And father-in-law Trevor, Christina's dad. Welcome
My
to the show,
Faja.
Trevor.
Hi, you got the old fart here.
Trevor yelled at me tonight too. We'll also address that.
Is that about the same thing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Both about the same thing. So, hear that fire roaring though. It's going now. Listen to it. Yeah. We are sitting around a fire out by Lessard Lake.
Yeah, the lake that my dad and my uncle co-purchased, I don't know when, in the 80s.
Yeah, Trevor, how long have you guys had this little property?
If I'm trying to remember, it was around 1979, 1981.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
It's been a while.
Same lot.
Can I don't want to get, like, you don't have to say it if you don't want to, but how much did you pay for it back then?
Not a lot.
Pretty cheap. Anything on it when you guys bought it?
A whole whack of trees.
Yeah.
Just trees, eh? Yeah.
All trees.
And so what is this lot? This is like a acre? A little more than an acre?
1 acre parcel. Everything's a 1 acre parcel in the area.
Lessard Lake, kind of out by Darwell. Nice little lake. This one, I mean, it's a 10-minute walk down to the lake, but it's, Tegan went fishing, our cousin.
Yeah.
Our nephew went fishing today for, there's pike and perch in there. Caught nothing.
Nothing.
But,
I hear in the wintertime, and I don't know if this is every winter, but they had some Porsches come out and do some drifting on the ice.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They build little snow tracks around here. So, like, a few years ago, we were taking Trevor's sleds out, and there's, almost jumps where it's like, hey, you can't go too fast because there's a track here. You hit that's like an ice jump.
Well, and everything's so white too. When you're coming at it fast, you don't realize either.
Yeah.
And they probably had those, if I don't remember any being here, but it would have been over by the campsite. Public campsite.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a little campground out at Lessard Lake. And a lot of guys, it seems like, I don't know if it's more happening recently, but a lot of people pulling out like their own little cabins, little trailers onto the lake in the middle of winter for ice fishing.
Ice huts.
Yeah, little ice huts.
Glamping fishing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you want to call that?
I kind of like that idea. Now, it just came to me right now, but we have to do a podcast
In an
ice hut, yeah. Slave Lake sells that you can just rent an ice hut for a couple
that's
nights.
Cool.
I think I want to say it was $150 a night, Slave Lake, but you rent the ice hut. It's got a little fireplace in there, TV with cameras into the fishing holes and stuff too.
Oh yeah.
And Wobman's got it too. Yeah, okay, yeah, that's
That
a
sounds
podcast
you're
one.
a little spoiled.
Yeah.
Whatever happened to
I need a donation.
Covering up on a tarp and looking down the hole.
I was thinking just getting an old tent that you're not using anymore, cut the bottom of it out, drill a hole in the ice.
So you guys buy this property, just trees on it, back in the early 80s. What's the first move when you show up? Just knock down a bunch of trees?
Pick out which tree you want to cut down so you can get in.
Yeah. And then did you guys set up like some holiday trailers, or what was the tents? What would you guys start with?
Probably tents for a little while. Just a weekend or two.
Do you remember it, Cristina, as like one of your first camping spots was out here?
Yeah. When I was born in '88, and then I don't know I don't know my first memory out here, but it was a mobile, just like a single wide mobile trailer that you guys brought out and had on blocks.
Yeah. 8 feet wide by, 50 feet long.
Yeah.
50 feet long?
Is it an antique, a mobile trailer?
Like a whole like mobile home?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. I never saw that then.
No.
No. Okay. What happened to that thing?
Was it just old?
Kind of rotted out, and we had to tear it down piece by piece because I guess we were told it was an eyesore and had to get rid of it.
Haul it out.
The spot out here is like we're almost an hour away from Edmonton, hour and a half away from Edmonton. So this is, for a lot of the people living out here, is seasonal spots. And there's not a ton of people staying out here full time, at least back then even.
There is now a lot of people who've like the acreage living, so I guess they're hanging around, whatever they do that stay out here.
You got neighbors all the way around now. Did you have before that, like when you first bought the place, was there anyone living here? Or?
Not really.
No.
It's just kind of a hit and miss.
Yeah.
Bring in a trailer, stay for a while, and then go back home.
Yeah, like the one right looking into the lake lot, the property directly to the left, directly to the right, never here. Even maybe the next one to the right wasn't there. It was the one before that. So like beside us, we had just trees. And then there were maybe, I don't know, the ones along the main stretch. Those guys were here. And then that was it for this keyhole.
And then how often, I guess going with Cristina, how often do you guys stay out here in the summer then?
I don't know.
Couple times a year?
Once a month?
Once a month?
Whenever we could, I guess.
Yeah.
Put it that way.
I don't know. Growing up, it always seemed like we had multiple times out here camping, which was nice.
Whatever the weather was favorable and didn't have stuff to do at home, so instead of going to pay for camping and drive 500 miles to find a campsite, we always had a spot.
Yeah.
So the mobile rotted out, then what's the next move?
Truck camper.
Okay. Yeah.
And took it off
Oh,
the
I
truck.
remember the truck camper. That was here when I was here.
Yeah,
and it had been here for a while.
I think we were older, and I don't know if we stayed. Like we traveled to Vancouver, Penticton, like into BC, and we did camping as kids in that truck camper, but I don't remember staying too many times here at the lake in that. I think we were kind of older when you parked back here.
Christina's had 3 sisters, by the way, just a backstory to this too.
Yeah, still has.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, in case you said had.
Sorry.
2 sisters, 1 brother. Grew up with 2 sisters.
Also, by the way, we should mention this before we get too far into the podcast. Trevor's birthday.
Yeah, yesterday.
Turned 64 years old.
Yep.
Had Black Forest cake tonight.
No, you had to say the age, right?
I know.
Just gonna say.
No, that's exciting. I think 64 is a good age.
Birthday.
Previously retired, didn't even have to wait till 65.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Humble brag.
Well, you might as well. If you're going to say the age, you might as well brag about that.
Been retired for a couple of years even.
Getting discounts.
Party.
Bored as hell.
Yeah.
That's why you got the lake.
Yeah. Well, you got okay. So you got the truck camper, and then when I moved out here, not when I moved out here, but when I started hooking up with your daughter.
All right, that's a weird way to say it.
I remember the truck camper being a part of it, and then slowly started adding trailers. Was that how it kind of worked?
Kind
just
of,
switching them.
I guess. Got an older 5th wheel trailer.
Yeah.
Got rid of the truck camper, and then that sufficed for a few winters, I guess.
Yeah.
Same day got rid of the truck camper. Worked out that way.
It just happened to be that it worked out that way. It was a bonus for me.
Yeah.
And then, last year, I mean, we'll get into right now even.
Yeah.
Last year, giant forest fire ripping through
Lac St. Anne
County. Coming across here. Were you worried? Did you have any inclination it was coming through here, or like what was the warning when it was burning?
There's fires all around the area.
Yeah.
And keeping track of them, but didn't think anything at the moment, and happened to be here the day before the fire, and I left that day, and
You were here the day before.
the day before.
What was did it look like? Okay, here's It's coming, real smoky or
There was
anything?
a fire to the west, but that was going in a different direction, so
Yeah.
had no concerns, I guess. But yeah, it was a bit of a shock. So
Yeah, until that day on the news or something, you kind of saw
now,
where it was.
all the alerts that you're getting over your phones.
Yeah.
Everybody's got phones, and you get alerts, and it's all summer long. Phone was pinging all the time, sending alerts.
Yep.
Yeah.
Fire in Evansburg, fire in Entwistle. This highway's closed. That highway's closed.
They all run together.
Pretty much. It was just a bad year everywhere for Alberta.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then, how'd you find out? Like, so I guess the backstory to this now is everything burnt down. The trailers, you had a bunch of sheds here all burnt up. There was just a shack with some quads in it.
Quonset.
Yeah, a little Quonset. It had a bunch of quads in there and everything. Burnt up. How'd you find out? You had trail cams. Is that?
Had a trail cam, but basically I guess it was a Facebook post that came out in the morning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I knew the neighbor. The neighbor was out here, and I texted the neighbor, and he said he saw smoke, and a few minutes later he texted me back, and the RCs were here telling everybody to leave.
Yeah. Evacuate now. Well, and I think Trista was the one on Facebook too and found the posts because the
Could have
guys, the other
Trista, one of
neighbors
Christina's
had,
sisters.
yeah, oldest sister. The other neighbor had their trail cam that was hooked up directly to them, and so they were able to see captures of their place being engulfed, the fire trucks bulldozing the fence down and coming onto their property, and so just kind of still images throughout the, I guess, fire process. And so we just knew that if theirs was completely engulfed, chances are ours was going to have something.
Yeah.
And
Whole thing burnt up. Everything.
It was a hit and miss. All the neighborhoods, everybody had something gone, but some lost more than others.
Yeah.
All the trailers. So there was 3 trailers here burnt up. Sheds.
Yeah.
All the some giant trees. Which, by the way, there's still a few standing that burnt.
The bark is all charred.
Charred. Like everything's pretty evident still. It's wild.
And the one neighbor that Dad said he was messaging to the left barely had anything. His property, most of it, but on the right side. And then the neighbor on the right had all theirs gone.
Yeah.
So it kind of like whipped around the back and it didn't touch the
It's
neighbor to
funny
the
how
left.
the fire
Crazy.
went, put it that way.
Yeah.
It's,
Yeah.
hit and miss and pick and choose.
And then what you see when you come back, like I remember just the photos of it's now just skeletons everywhere.
Yeah. We came out here last summer just to it was like pretty recent after the fire, just to see everything was going and stuff and take a look. And it was just like the quads were just steel frames, charred steel frames.
Just like what you see on the news after a fire's gone through. So if you got Jasper in your head, it kind of looks...
Yeah.
The 2 houses beside one house totally gone, and the house beside it is still standing.
Yeah.
I know Cristina had mentioned that once that happened, you were kind of like, well, what do we do? Do I just sell the property, or try to rebuild?
I guess like spilt milk, I called it. You clean it up and start again.
Yeah.
What was the cleanup like? Did you hire a company? Because
Yeah.
Dad and Co.
Dad and Co. I mean,
Dad
we didn't really help
and
much.
whatever daughters and son-in-laws were available.
Yeah.
Pails and buckets.
Because it's new. So you got a new trailer now. You got electrical again. It did seem like the couple years before that happened, you were really upgrading the whole place.
Pushing some of the trees back.
Yeah, getting trees back. Like a year before, you got electrical kind of installed, and I don't know. It just seemed like you were really spending a lot of time. I guess since retirement, spending a lot of time out here fixing it up.
Yeah, pretty much.
The go-to spot, Lessard Lake. The podcast question of the week this week was, what lake do you remember going to with your parents, sort of thing? Like, what lake do you remember growing up with? We got some great answers. My mom sent a message in.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, you mean
Pine
you
Bay.
got-
She
you
used
got
to.
people listening right now.
Not right now, but George sends questions in.
Oh yeah, every
No.
week there's a question, Trevor. So it's the podcast question of the week. I'm going to read some of these responses because some really cool lakes. Tara said Madge Lake, Saskatchewan. Went to my grandparents' cabin every summer. Loved the cabin. Sat on the forest up on the hill overlooking the lake. We slept in little bunkhouses that were attached to the main part of the open docks. Sounds like a cool spot. Madge Lake. Let me bring up a few more here because there's some really great answers. Christina, you had mentioned Sylvan Lake as one of the spots that you'd went to.
My best friend, her dad has 6 other siblings, and between those siblings and then the uncles and aunts, they had, I think, maybe a handful of log cabins. And so we'd go out every summer. They'd always be out. They kind of alternated between the cousins, but every time they'd go out, I'd get to go, and they were on the opposite side of Sylvan town site, and we'd go and hang out and play in the water, and just a lot of good memories.
There was quite a few comments came in about Sylvan Lake being
Overpopulated?
The spot was like, I remember Sylvan Lake 30 years ago, completely different than it is now. Sylvan Lake, definitely a busy spot.
It's just warm, and it has a big beach too.
It's kind of commercialized like Alberta beaches.
Yeah.
Gull Lake came up quite a few times. Actually, Jeff, our friend of the podcast, listened to the last episode, Jeff, the birder, mentioned Gull Lake. Trevor, were your parents campers? What's your history there?
I guess to say, yeah, my dad loved fishing, so ever since I was little, whether I liked it or not, we went camping and went fishing.
Yeah.
So
Whereabouts were you born?
Edmonton.
And then was there a lake that your dad preferred?
Pick one. Any little lake that's probably 3 hours away that we drove to. Tent trailer.
Yeah.
And then graduated to a converted milk truck wagon.
Oh,
A
cool.
milk truck wagon.
I didn't know that.
When you used to get your milk delivered to your house, you put your bottle on the porch, it was empty, and the milkman would drive by and give you a fresh bottle of milk.
Grandpa got one of those and said, all right.
Slept in one of those?
One of those that were retired
Yeah.
and converted it into a camper.
Huh.
So was it basically a bed? Like you had beds, some cupboards, some storage?
Pretty much, yeah. And the one seat in front that you're driving in with a sliding door on the side.
Yeah.
It looks like the post office truck.
Yeah.
That
except
actually
the
does
door is
sound
closed.
like a cool little camper van.
Yeah. So you want to talk about a mobile home? That was it.
Yeah. And no seatbelts, just the driver?
No seat belts.
Yeah.
Didn't have seat belts.
You and Grandma just sit back there and play cards or something?
In the car, I laid on the ledge at the back seats underneath the window.
That sounds very common. I hear that a lot.
Yep.
The this lake came in a lot. Eunice had one. Fork Lake. Parents tented there, then built a cabin there. So all my childhood, and then some. Yeah.
I'll have to look it up.
Yeah, it sounds nice. Sandy wrote in Sandy Beach by Sandy with an I, but Sandy Beach by Two Hills. I wonder, related? Maybe. When we were out at Emerson Lake last week, and we met a kid whose name was Emerson, named after the lake.
Yeah.
Yeah. By the way.
Well, I bet you I know where he was conceived.
Yeah.
That's true.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Pigeon Lake from William. My parents had friends out there, went out there numerous times. Couldn't wait to go boating. John said Buffalo. Andrea said Moose Lake. Moose Lake came in quite a few times, actually. That's another one. Gull Lake, Moose Lake, Sylvan Lake, all like top of the list here.
Yeah, populars.
Lynn Anders, Pine Lake. So that's what my mom said. Pine Lake. She used to go there with.
Where's that one?
Kind of down by Red Deer, little east of Red Deer. That's where my grandma used to go all the time. My great grandma actually is buried now, close to the Pine Lake Cemetery.
Oh, yeah.
Tornado went through there in, I want to say...
about 10 years ago?
Yeah, it might have been before that. I want to say early 2000s, because my cousin Dylan was there, and it was like the Hind Lake tornado. It was a huge thing.
I remember that one.
Yeah.
Buffalo Lake, that was from John. Oh yeah, man, so many from Gull Lake. Slave Lake, Casey said Slave Lake.
Casey.
Yeah, that's our baby's name. Tanis said Miquelon Lake. It's not the same now in terms of swimming, but great campground for biking and walking. Sean said we always went to Buck Lake, Moose Lake, Blood Indian Reservoir, Crawling Valley the most. And then Lac St. Aunt, and from Darren, that's close to our neck of the woods.
Yeah, we're in
when
the
he
county.
used to be able to catch decent perch off the dock.
Yeah, that'd be
A
nice.
lot of the comments that came in were like, I used to go to this lake 30 years ago, and it was way better than it is now.
Yeah.
Thunder Lake from Karen. That's a
lot of new names I've never heard of.
Karen or Thunder?
Thunder.
Yeah, okay. Kootenai Lake from Carla.
I almost need a map here and be looking up
Right?
these lakes.
Well, that's what's exciting about...
I hear half of them. The name sounds familiar, but I don't know exactly
where
what
it is.
part of Alberta it's in.
Yeah. Thunder Lake's near, this is another one from Deborah. Thunder Lake near Bar Hill, Alberta. D said Crimson Lake. I used to go to Crimson Lake all the time. That's down by Rocky.
Oh, yeah.
My grandma lived in Rocky, so we'd go to Crimson Lake and stay there. Cutlass Lake, that was from Bill. That's in the Fraser Valley. Cristina Lake,
Yeah.
named after you. That's in BC, though. That's from Leslie.
There's a few Cristina Lakes. There's one up north, too, because I know workers go up there.
Okay, yeah. Sue said Gull Lake was a wonderful family spot back in the day. Lots of camping spots, picnic spots, cabins to rent, and the best of us kids, the swings, they could go really, really high. Huh. So thanks everyone for sending all these in. Oh, Jody said we did Rock Lake for the first 6 years of my life, then Touchwood Lake for 22 years. Now my happy place is the Brazeau Dam.
Ooh.
Been there.
Yeah.
Brazeau Dam's a nice spot.
Yeah.
Not
So-
Touch Lake.
The problem is, so here's what I like. I love these seasonal spots where you come out and have a regular spot. We kind of looked at doing this in like Catamount, which is not a lake, but out by Catamount, like getting a cabin.
Yeah.
But we were a little worried. It's like, okay, then that's the only spot we're ever going to go to. Did you feel like, Trevor, once you guys bought this spot back in the early 80s, like, okay, is this the only spot we're going to go to? Or was it like, okay, this is kind of a backup spot? Or
I
what
guess
was your
if
thoughts?
you want to look at it back then, it was probably an investment.
Is that what you guys bought it for? Did you buy
It's
it
a
for an
piece of
investment?
land. So land never goes down, right?
Yeah.
So whatever you want to buy, stocks and bonds.
Yeah.
Talk to my brother-in-law. Well, let's just go look.
Yeah.
Well, looking ended up to buying, and think of it as an investment.
Yeah.
If we
Yeah.
don't do nothing, we're not going to lose money.
Yeah.
So,
And you enjoy it.
Yeah.
well, yeah, enjoyed for a while, anyways.
Yeah.
Comes to work.
Yeah.
But
That is the one thing people, they talk about with seasonal spots like this is like when you're only coming out once a week or every couple of weeks, like you go out there and your first thing is just to mow the lawn. Like it's
that's about the only thing that I really enjoy. I can sit down, and ride on the lawnmower,
Oh, yeah.
and cut the grass, and
Mm-hmm.
okay, I'm good.
yeah.
So more lawn is what you're saying.
More lawn. Let's cut down another tree. We
Less-
cut down
Yeah.
4 or 5 trees today. There is
45 trees today.
45. Get out of here. There is a bunch of trees that have to come down still because of the fire.
You're welcome, Jeff.
What's the plan? Arborist, or are we going to try to tackle it in-house?
I don't know what time next year you coming back with your chainsaw.
Well, I'll come out again. There was a few trees you wanted me to cut down today, which it was pretty windy today. I was just like, man, if that falls on the trailer, the truck.
And too many people around.
Yeah.
There
Like,
started to be a lot of people.
I guess you can't have the grandkids and everything all running
Just wandering around, yeah.
dogs and
Yeah.
everything else. So
It'd be nice to to be honest, there's a section of like 4 trees there, maybe 5 trees, where if we could just pull out all the trailers, it would make it a little less dicey.
Well, except for the neighbor's shed right there behind the trailers.
Well, I'm sure they got insurance.
There's always next year. That's what I figured. Next year can...
Yeah. A few more trees to come down.
I plan on moving the trailers anyways to a little bit different spot, so when they get moved out of the way for a bit, then cut the trees and then put the trailers back.
Yeah.
This fire has really changed the landscape of the whole area, though. Like, it's just...
there's no trees with leaves on it anymore, and you can see the neighbor.
You can see like 3 neighbors down. Each direction.
Yeah. Yeah, it
makes it look bare looking.
Yeah.
Put it that way. There's trees there, but no leaves on it. Makes it look naked.
Yeah.
A naked forest. How about that one?
Yeah.
That's what we can call the site, the Naked Forest.
The Naked Forest, yeah. Do you guys have any, like, favorite memories from coming out here? Like, I mean, you've been out here for 40-some years now.
I don't know. You guys tell me.
I have random ones.
When you got older... You come out, you go skidooing.
Yeah.
Not even that, like random ones, even as a kid. So our pet cat was named Kitty, and we would bring her out, and we'd have her just on a harness. She was cute.
I know.
We'd have her on a harness, and she would catch mice, and she'd leave them on the front steps for you guys to find. Didn't you say you put your foot into a shoe and there was a mouse in there?
I don't know. That might have been Uncle Andy, I think.
Putting the mice there, or he stepped on one?
I know the cat was good in the old trailer, that it would get the mice if there was when we're sleeping.
Yeah. Get them for us.
Yeah.
There was always Mom and Auntie would suntan on the driveway because, again, we had a lot of trees.
What?
All right.
Yeah.
We had a lot of trees, so they'd go out to the driveway and suntan. I don't know.
Auntie was a little bit too close to the edge and leaned back in the chair and fell into the ditch.
Oops.
Yeah, oops.
I feel like when we first started dating, maybe not first started dating, but first time we started coming out here, there was only the camper, and we were sleeping in tents.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then the last few years, it was trailers.
Yeah. Tents and tarps.
Yeah. Tents and tarps.
And it always seemed to rain whenever you had to be in a tent.
Yeah, of course.
So it was Tarp City under the fire.
I would like to make a disclaimer. Previous in the podcast, you had mentioned that we didn't help do any of the cleanup. I do just want to make a comment that we had moved into your parents' place for a little bit, and then we're in the process of moving into our place. And while we were still at your parents' place, there were evacuations in Edson. So we evacuated from your parents' place once during that time.
There was fires going. Yeah, we had other fires to deal with.
So it's not like we weren't doing anything to come and help.
Also, another disclaimer, I had mentioned earlier on the podcast that you guys both had yelled at me earlier on tonight. Let's clear that up right now. I had put a larger piece of wood on the fire, and you said I don't listen to anybody. And then Trevor took the larger piece of wood out of there. Fire is pretty low right now.
Yeah.
I like a big fire. You guys do not
I like
big
a big
fires.
fire too.
Well, obviously you don't like a big fire.
The point was that we were probably going to get ready for bed, but then all of a sudden this podcast came up.
Well, exactly. Well, here's the thing. I can foretell the future a little bit. So we're sitting around some smoke right now.
Nice.
And I'm like, hey, it'd be nice to have a little fire going here.
No
but
one
you guys
can see
shut
this.
the fire out.
There is flame. There is still a bunch of logs. We wanted another 3-hour fire. We didn't want a 5-hour fire.
Well,
and the logs kept on getting bigger. Like, when you talk about 4 feet long.
How big is this fire pit? This fire pit's 4 feet wide.
The fire pit's only 2.5 feet wide.
This is not 2.5 feet wide.
Oh, yeah. Maybe 3. Maybe 3.
I push 3.5 easy, maybe 4.
Yeah, I'd say maybe about 4.
You're lucky you can't see it. You can only hear it.
Yeah.
I'll take a picture of it. I'll use my...
But it has some cool designs cut in the side. There's star, moon, fish, smiley guy.
I'm just saying, I like a big fire.
Yeah.
You guys shot it down and both yelled at me for it.
Oh,
so
I got fireworks. Fireworks texting me.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Trevor's got fireworks at his place tonight, too. Which is...
That I'm missing.
That you're missing.
Yeah.
There's fireworks out here tonight, though.
Instead, I'm enjoying the lake ambiance with company.
Yeah.
Family.
It is
friends.
a nice spot to be out here because it is quiet. And actually, we saw 2 deer go through. And you got trail cam set up here now. Christina mentioned that there was bears moving through here recently.
Black bear.
There's
a bear.
I had a picture 2 years ago of a bear on this property with a trail cam.
Yeah.
And just recently, a couple of weeks ago, somebody else in this area has a picture of a trail cam and a bear.
Okay, cool.
And I understand, obviously, in the fall, I didn't realize, but they have their cubs this time of year. And they're hunting for food, getting ready to hibernate.
Storing up for winter.
They're dangerous with their cubs.
So,
well,
mama bear and 2 babies. So I had to go out and buy some bear spray just in case.
Yeah. And then check the trail cam footage and see if anybody's come to visit this site.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
I think the spot looks pretty good now. You got some lights around it. There's a few trees you got to knock down.
Yeah, it's cute.
But it's
getting bigger every time.
Yeah, it does. It looks nice. Bit. Yeah. And like we have like Christina's sisters with her kids. Like the family's growing a bit too, and it's a cool spot to come out. Like you just want to come out for a night or a couple nights on a weekend. Like that's what's nice about spots like this.
Even a day trip too. Like my nephew couldn't stay the night
because you've always got firewood. You don't have to worry about getting a spot to park in, right?
Yeah.
When you go camping, you don't have to rebook.
Yeah,
no, it's nice.
We just call you and say, "Hey, we're booking. Come
we're coming out."
Sure. yeah, let's burn some more wood. So cut another tree down and burn some more.
Let's burn some more. Okay. Well, happy birthday, Trevor.
Thank you very much.
Happy birthday, Dad.
And this is another live from the camp. Can you? It's just, I mean, it's mostly smoke right now, but
nice try.
We'll throw another 6-inch log on there to get it burning.
And I'll give you 5 gallons of water so you can put it out before you go to bed.
Yeah, that's what's getting me. I'll probably spin on this, put this thing out right now. Yes. But the kids love it.
You want to see pictures of fireworks?
Love. Oh,
we're getting off topic here.
Fireworks going off in town.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's cool.
Nice. The best thing about a firework is seeing a picture of it.
Yeah.
We're not allowed fireworks in Yellowhead County.
If you can't send me a picture of a firework, send me a picture of a concert when you're standing on it with holding your phone. I love getting those ones too. That's a great one.
Instead of being there?
Yeah.
Oh, somebody's singing it to you. I'm reciting.
Oh, yeah, even better. Sing the song. Metallica as I drove by the concert from the outside.
Oh, I told George you were going to Metallica, and he was so excited the same way you did it to us.
Oh, yeah.
And
George was Metallica?
Yeah. How do you get tickets? Oh, yeah, he's driving by.
He's driving by, and he's going to have his window rolled down. Oh, okay.
I like get myself into those tight spots because I couldn't look at anything because I was worried about there's people running across the roads, and it was stupid.
But
don't want to hit anyone while trying to watch and drive.
Yeah.
Next episode, the plan is Scott's going to come on. We're going to talk about meat. Wild game recipes.
It's hunting season.
Yeah. Trevor used to be a hunter too, eh? Christina's told me stories about like you getting a moose.
Yeah, I was thinking about that too. I want to hear your story about that one time you took Mom hunting. And you got a moose.
I've told you already.
Yeah, let's tell everybody else.
Oh, yeah. Big deal. So, yeah. Drive-by moose hunting, I guess that's kind of illegal. In a cut line.
That's
just
fine.
Driving along and down a cut line and happened to find a moose. And it was the type I could shoot.
Monster bull.
Yeah. Never done it before. Neighbors did and always gave us some meat. But anyways, I shot the moose. It went down. And of course, it was way back in the bush, down a gully.
Yeah.
So it wasn't very convenient to get out. I had the inclination of, okay, you're supposed to cut the throat, and then you're supposed to do this to gut it, and it didn't work out so well. I had to call in reinforcements to help me.
Who was the reinforcements?
A friend of my dad's.
Okay.
Back in the city.
Yeah.
And note that it's not like he had cell phones then either. So he couldn't
I was like attached to
this was out by Whitecourt area, and I had to drive to the nearest hotel or small town or village, I can't remember, Blue Ridge area.
Okay, yeah.
And use a phone.
So you call this guy and you say, hey, I got to move
Who'd
down.
you call first?
I called my dad to get the neighbor.
Okay.
And of course the neighbor wasn't home, so it was 5 hours later by the time they actually arrived.
Yeah, to get the neighbor and then drive out there.
Drive out and then...
And to confirm, your hunting partner was my mother, and she was just sitting in the truck, or did she help at all?
She pretty much was just sitting in the truck.
Okay, yeah.
That's
kind of what I pictured.
Looked at one another and, okay, what do we do now?
Yeah, what's the next
I don't know,
move?
you shot it.
Yeah.
So, but it all ended up, we got it home and
Quartered
had
it.
moose meat for a while.
And did you guys butcher it? I guess the neighbor helped you. So you guys butchered it there?
Gutted it out in the field and left the skin on and quartered it, I guess you'd per se, and threw it in the truck and brought it home and hung it in the garage to dry for 5 days.
Yeah. Nice. And then ground it up into hamburger?
Ground it up. There was hamburger, there was roasts, there was whatever, made some... probably sausages.
Oh, yeah.
You gave us some, I think it was a guy you worked with. Was it deer sausage or elk sausage or something you
The
gave
guy
us?
that I work with, he always goes and gets a deer. He's got a friend on a farm and he gets a deer and he always takes it to a place, a butcher, and gets it all cut up and he makes a percentage to either jerky, pepperoni, or sausage.
Ooh, I love deer pepperoni or elk pepperoni.
I always got some treats from him. He was good for giving it away to some friends.
Yeah.
What's your favorite wild game to eat?
I guess it all depends on how it's cooked. To me, some taste gamier than others, but
people say mule deer's got a definitely distinctive taste to it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try to track one of those down this year.
The moose was good.
I do like
the
moose.
Deer, I guess it depends how deer is cooked, I guess.
Yeah.
The way it's cooked, but it does have a gamey taste, I
George's mom showed me how to cook a deer heart and stuff it with stuffing.
Yeah, okay.
We could do that for you. Bring you over for dinner.
Not into that.
Happy birthday.
Not into that, sorry.
All right.
We're going to talk about wild game recipes and some of the best. Scott eats everything. Like, he's out hunting rabbits and bears, and he messaged me. He said cougars too. So I'm curious to see. Yeah. I never heard of anyone eating a cougar before.
I think
but
anything's edible, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like Safeway myself.
I always heard that the carnivores, their meat had different bacteria in it. So I'd like
it's called,
Scott to...
trichinosis or whatever. Yeah, something like that.
Where you would just have to get it into a freezer faster than you would other game.
Well,
or
I always
what?
say like bear meat, you got to cook. Make sure like you're not eating raw bear meat.
Oh yeah, you're not going to have medium rare raw.
I thought
Exactly.
bear meat I heard was like really fatty and gristly and tough.
Yeah.
It's
So
a lot
tune
of
in
muscle.
next week. I'm
Yeah.
promoting the future right now, but tune in next week for
Scott to bust these myths.
Yeah, bust these myths. Well, thanks for coming on the podcast, Trevor. We always
Okay.
want. Exciting to chat with you. I was excited. I mentioned it to Cristina. I'm like, hey, let's get Trevor on the podcast, and we weren't sure you didn't want to do it or chat, and I think it actually was pretty good.
Yeah.
The only thing I do is listen to is not involved in them.
Well, you got a lot of episodes to
can't
catch
say that
up on.
anymore.
Yeah.
Here I
To
am.
find yours.
Yeah.
I understand the next one's going to be more interesting without me.
Oh, get
No.
outta here. wildernesswave@outlook.com. You want to send a message in, we always appreciate it. And we're getting some really cool emails and some listeners and reviews on Spotify coming in, which is amazing. Thanks everyone for listening. And if you would like to be a part of the podcast or have an idea for a podcast episode or maybe even a guest, there's people sending in guest ideas now, which is kind of
Nice.
cool. Let me know. wildernesswave@outlook.com. This winter, like it's a wilderness podcast. The winter, things should slow down, right?
You'd think so.
Yeah. But I don't want them to. I want to keep it rolling. So we're working on a few ones.
Ice
Scott
fishing.
had an idea where we could watch wilderness videos like The Revenant.
Okay.
And then debunk
critique
it. And
it. Yeah.
just
Oh
critique
yeah,
it
I like that idea.
Oh,
we might do that
You're
too.
going to criticize a movie that's already out there.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're going to make fun of someone else's work and then tell them what they did wrong.
Well,
and
just say like, is this believable or
Right.
no, that's completely bogus.
yeah. Which Hollywood, they
Like
they
bogus.
might exaggerate on a few things.
Yeah.
They've been known to do that. So
More exciting.
we'll bring it back to reality, and I think it'd be a fun one. I'm
Yeah.
excited for that too. So thanks everyone that's listening, and we will talk to you next week.
Bye.
Wilderness Wavelength.